Okay, some afterthoughts on day 25, day of severity, as we're going back down into, well, the bottom of the tree. We're going to be thinking more about the astral plane. Now, the astral plane proper, um, we've got to think of it like the fairy realm. It's the fairy realm, right? So we've got a better. If you remember a lot of the fairy stories, that's going to be interesting. Um, and although a lot of they're diluted down for modern day times, a lot of the essences are still there. For example, well, there's like lore to do with the fairy, to like when you're on pathways, because we're going to be looking at pathways, um, and um, these paths are quite, you know, straightforward, and what do I mean? They're laid down. Um, right, there's a law that says you should stick with the path in fairy, and not leave the path, because you can easily get lost. And there's like stories about being pixie led. Um, I think a lot of what's been done in terms of earthworks and various things around the earth has been to close down like areas that were um, like like almost like portals or crossovers where you could go into directly into other worlds, like, and it would operate as the land of fairy, like the astral world, on the physical plane. It would be like geographical locations, and it was all set up with the Earth's energy grid. And then they've closed it down with using all these different techniques to close it all down and try and make it all in one thing. Um, and now I think that it's a weird kind of grid with all different patterns and stuff going on. And so anyway, yeah. In the past, there was like years of study, um, sometimes, and preparation before people done these sort of things, and but not everyone was able to do that. They would like, you have to be specifically like kind of chosen, or you know. So, and it's because like people messing around with these things on their own without proper training and discipline could um, uh, get into trouble, like psychologically. And like for example, um, there's this idea of losing time, and time working differently, and getting trapped like in pixie world, like, or fairyland, like. And like years could go by, you could get like into psychological areas where there's like a feedback loop, and you just lose time. Um, Basically, get lost. So sticking to specific pathways and going through all the pathways, like in a controlled manner, is a worthwhile thing to do, and sticking with the path and not leaving the path, you know, or at least unless you're prepared for the consequences, and you follow basic rules of behaviour. Like there's also things like you shouldn't eat food, and or drink anything, but you know, if there are certain situations where you might want to risk it, and if you are going to go off the path. you know. And then there's like deeper levels of things where, you know, um, right, we'll get onto all that later. But initially, to explore all this stuff, we'll be dealing with like sticking to the path, because a lot of these fairy stories are about when people don't do um, what they're supposed to, you know, and that's when it leads to all these like problems and stuff. But they basically leave the path when, you know, at the wrong time, or don't carry on when they should carry on. Or okay, so that's just an afterthought for day 25.